What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and this is Arrow Season 5, Episode 14, The Sin Eater. So, this one is obviously better than last week, because last week was pretty much a political rant about guns, but still have some problems, just as far as the story goes. You know, the action's fine, the characters are not that bad in this episode, except for Thea. I'll get to that. But as far as just, I guess, the story and some of the decisions being made on the writing side of it, some of it doesn't make any sense. So, first of all, let's talk about the very first decision, which is apparently Prometheus is a guy. If that's the case, then I don't know who it is. It's probably going to be somebody we don't know. you know? Like, that's the thing. If it was going to be, oh, it was the child of this woman and the guy that Oliver killed, and they kept emphasizing child, but they never figured out whether it was a son or daughter, then the whole, ooh, it's Susan Williams thing seems more plausible. But they confirmed at the beginning of this one it was their son. So, Prometheus is a guy. So, who? Like, who could it possibly be then? Because the only new guy that's been introduced to the show is Adrian Chase, and I'm fairly certain that he's Vigilante. So he can't be Vigilante and Prometheus. So, what is it going to be, some random guy we don't know now? Like, that would just be dumb. What would be the point of that? What would be the point of keeping him in secret for so long? So, yeah, that's kind of stupid. Maybe they'll turn it around. Maybe somehow it will turn out to be something shocking. But for the moment, yeah, kind of dumb. On to the main plot for this one, which is while they're searching for more information about Prometheus' mother and what possibly happened to her son, three women break out of the bus in probably the most silly way possible. Like, what, I can't remember. I think it was Cupid. What's her name? Carrie Cutter. She's like flirting with one of the guards, and he, even though he's not having it, he's still like an idiot in all of this. Like, she's like, why don't you take me out of these cuffs and we can have a little fun? He's like, well, that does sound nice. It would be completely against my profession. And then all of a sudden, one of them sneak up from behind him and start choking him out. I'm like, what is this? Like, first of all, who says that? Whenever a hot prisoner flirts with you, who says, it's against my job description to fraternize with prisoners? I'm like, okay, seriously? Like, this is really goofy. And then he just walks up, and for some reason they're not chained down to anything, and so he turns his back on some women that can kill him in an instant. Yeah, easiest prison escape I've ever seen. But, despite that, it is kind of an interesting concept of, you've got Cupid, you've got that, I can't remember who she was. I remember kind of, like, from the first couple seasons, I remember her name's China. I remember her just being kind of a fearsome foe that Oliver had to face in the first couple seasons. Not one of the main bad guys, but she was one of those villains that whenever she popped up, at first she was trouble for Oliver. Now, probably not as much. But it's Cupid, it's her, and then it's the black lady cop that was doing her own little version of justice. I think it was last season. Her I don't remember as much. The other two I definitely do remember, but anyway. So we see Quentin has his own personal connection to this because, he told her to turn over a new leaf, to change her lifestyle, and then she finds out that he was working for Damien Dark, and so now she hates him for it, and she, in her mind, she's like, well, you're no better than me then. So the three of them are trying to find Tobias Church's stash of money that he got from the whatever deal that was going on in the first half of the season. So they're looking for it. They're going to all the different gangs trying to find out who has it. Then all of a sudden, Oliver finds them at one point, but then he gets almost captured by the ACU. And so now it's kind of like, what happened? Well, as it turns out, Prometheus sent the autopsy report, the true one, to the ACU captain. And so now he knows that the Green Arrow was responsible for Malone's death. Well, of course, Oliver can't have the ACU on his back the whole time, so he goes to him as Oliver and explains that they had to cover it up because Prometheus made it look like Billy was Prometheus. and so they had to cover all that up, and so the Green Arrow was not responsible for it, and the captain's just like, I'll think it over, but of course in the end he decides not to. However, this does lead to a very interesting cliffhanger of the end of the episode, where all of a sudden it's revealed that Oliver in his office covered up the death of Billy Malone, and so now we're starting to get into, I guess, a bit more of the Prometheus side of it, because I feel like Prometheus had something to do with this, just this information leaking out. We'll see, maybe, maybe not, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen from here, because even though the mayor part of his job has not really been involved that much, it is kind of like, okay, now how is he going to deal with this? How is he going to deal with the fact that they're going to come down hard on him? And of course, they end up capturing the girls too, so that's the end of that one. But all in all, I mean, that part of the episode was fairly interesting. It was nice. It was well written. It was well done. The acting was good. The action was good. But there were some stories on the outside that were kind of frustrating. In the first one, like I said, the characters were fine in this one, except for Thea, because I don't know, just first of all, the fact that she was gone for quite a bit and then immediately comes back in, sees that Oliver and Susan Williams are together, and all of a sudden just turns into complete bitch mode. And I've had problems with Thea in the past. I've had problems with the character and certain decisions she's made in the past, but of late she's been a lot better. She's been a lot more enjoyable. The stuff with Susan Williams, yeah, she made a couple bad decisions, but she seems okay with it. And then all of a sudden in this one, Oliver, Susan asks him, "Are you the Green Arrow?" He says no, and then Thea finds out about it, and then she has Felicity hack her computer. I'm just like, see, you don't interfere in something like that. I understand what she was trying to do, but what ends up happening is now Susan is absolutely positive that Oliver's the Green Arrow, because as soon as she accuses him, somebody hacks her computer and gets her discredited, and so now she believes he's the Green Arrow. And not only that, she's out of a job, and now Oliver's mad about it, and it just kind of makes things 10 times worse than they would have been if Susan had written some article about Oliver possibly being the Green Arrow, putting all the pieces together. In that case, you could just have Oliver say, "Look, I'm not," and then point out what a coincidence it could be. But now that you've hacked her, and now that you've discredited her as a person, and not as a person, as a reporter, now she knows for sure. It kind of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It almost proves it in her mind. The fact that as soon as she says that, she gets hacked and discredited. It kind of proves the point that she was trying to make. So it's just a stupid decision. As soon as she had Felicity hack into her computer, all I could think of was, she's gonna know now that Oliver's Green Arrow because of this. Like, it just didn't seem like a smart decision. It wasn't a smart decision, and so now we've got personal drama to deal with. After finally hooking up Oliver and Susan, after what seemed like forever, now all of a sudden they're not together again. It's just like, great, I got to spend more time with this. So that was stupid. And then we see also on the outside the flashbacks to the Bratva storyline. Not terrible, but not good. Mainly because a lot of it has to deal with Oliver trying to get Anatoly out of the hospital because Gregor's coming to kill him. And it's supposed to be intense, but it's not. Because, I mean, we know they don't die. We know both of them are still alive. And so they end this episode on a cliffhanger there, where Gregor has a gun to Anatoly's head, and he's like, "You will no longer be the leader." And I'm just like, yeah, Anatoly's totally gonna die, guys. Oh no, what are we gonna do now? Like, I don't know, just to have this story not just be done with, not have it finish in this episode, and then to end on a cliffhanger where it looks like Anatoly might die. I'm just like, why? I know he's not going to. I know there's no intensity in this scene. Why end it like that? Why make it look like there's even a possibility of that? It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem very realistic, and it seems like the writers kind of got confused about how to write the flashbacks. But anyway, despite all of that, the flashbacks aren't terrible. They still do kind of connect, because there's a lot of talk about the Sin Eater, like the episode of this title. there's talk about the Sin Eater with Anatoly and Oliver, and he's talking about somebody who comes in and takes the sins of everybody, um, and that kind of does play into what everybody is going through. But I do think part of why that doesn't work though is because you look at Oliver, and honestly, it felt like he had moved on from the Billy thing. He had moved on from the fact that, okay, it wasn't his fault. It was Prometheus. He got over it. Dinah had helped him get over it. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere in this episode, all of a sudden he's back to, it's my fault. I'm the one responsible. I need to take responsibility for this. And it just kind of happens out of nowhere. And then Quentin has to give him the talk again and get him back on his feet again. I'm just like, how many times are we going to go through this? How many times are we going to have this moment where Oliver, oh no, it's my fault, Billy's dead, oh. And then all of a sudden somebody's going to have to give him the pep talk. Come on, Oliver, it's not you, it's Prometheus. You got to get on your feet. You got to fight. And I said, dude, we can't keep having this talk. We can't keep having the same storyline play out over and over and over again until the end of the season. It's not right. So, yeah, that part was kind of strange, but the rest of it, it's not bad. I've definitely seen worse this season, but I do wish, though, that we could get back onto the Prometheus storyline, mainly focus on that, because it does feel like we've kind of taken a bit of a detour since the mid-season finale. That happened with Billy and everything there with Prometheus, and then we came back, and we haven't touched on Prometheus until this episode. We've had little tidbits, and now all of a sudden we see his mother, and then that's about all that happens, aside from Prometheus sending the letter to the ACU captain. But yeah, all in all, it could be better, but it could be worse too, so I can't really complain. I just wish the dumb decisions from certain characters. I wish Thea, I wish Susan Williams, I wish all these characters that are acting like idiots right now, I just want them to start acting like themselves again. I want Thea to be the intelligent girl that she was a few seasons ago before she started making dumb decisions. I want Susan Williams to finally wake up and be like, okay, maybe I should stop attacking Oliver if I don't have a good reason. I don't know. It seems, some of it seems strange, but then there are certain parts that are working, which is something that I couldn't say about the fourth season, so I guess it has stepped up a little bit in that respect. But all in all, I am kind of looking forward to the next episode. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with this whole revelation that Oliver's office covered up everything. I'm looking forward to seeing what Prometheus' story is going to end up being. I'm really, really hoping that it's going to be somebody we know, because I would hate it if it was somebody we didn't know. It just turned out to be some guy that we haven't met yet. But we'll see. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Arrow reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.